Imagine this. Two nations stand face to face across a disputed river. One is a young republic hungry for expansion, the other an empire still reeling from independence. Within 2 years, maps would be redrawn, cities would fall, and over 100,000 lives would be lost. But this war is often forgotten, a war that doubled America's size and left Mexico scarred for generations. This is the story of the Mexican-American War, the war that changed North America forever. By the 1840s, the United States had grown restless. The idea of manifest destiny, the belief that Americans were divinely ordained to expand from the Atlantic to the Pacific, had gripped the imagination of a nation. Texas had declared independence from Mexico in 1836 and was annexed by the U.S. in 1845, despite Mexico never recognizing that independence. To the U.S., Texas was the new frontier. To Mexico, it was stolen land. President James K. Polk, a firm believer in expansion, had his sights set not just on Texas, but on California and the Southwest. He sent diplomats to Mexico offering money for the land. Mexico refused. So Polk did something bolder. He sent troops into the disputed zone between the Nueces River and the Rio Grande land, claimed by both sides. It was a political gamble, and it worked. In April 1846, Mexican troops attacked a U.S. patrol near the Rio Grande. President Polk went to Congress declaring that American blood has been shed on American soil. War was declared. But not everyone agreed. A young congressman from Illinois, Abraham Lincoln, questioned Polk's motives. Was this truly defense or a war of aggression? Still, the war machine rolled forward. The U.S. military, led by future Presidents Zachary Taylor and Winfield Scott, was better equipped and more organized. Despite being outnumbered, American forces pushed deep into northern Mexico, winning key victories at Palo Alto and Resaca de la Palma. Meanwhile, in California, American settlers revolted in the Bear Flag Revolt, seizing control of the region even before official forces arrived. By 1847, General Winfield Scott launched a bold amphibious assault on the port city of Veracruz, the first major amphibious landing in U.S. history. From there, he marched inland toward the capital, Mexico City. It was a brutal campaign. The terrain was treacherous, the heat unbearable, and the resistance fierce. The Mexican army, under General Santa Anna Yes, the same man who led at the Alamo, fought desperately. But after a series of bloody battles, including the infamous Battle of Chapultepec, American forces reached the gates of Mexico City. In September 1847, U.S. troops raised the American flag over the National Palace. Mexico had fallen. The war officially ended in 1848 with the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. Mexico, devastated and politically divided, had no choice but to surrender nearly half its territory, including what is now California, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, Utah, and parts of Colorado and Wyoming. In return, the U.S. paid $15 million in compensation, a sum many in Mexico saw as blood money. Over 13,000 American soldiers died, mostly from disease. Mexican casualties were far higher, some estimates reaching over 25,000. The war left behind a bitter legacy. For the United States, the war was a triumph, a fulfillment of manifest destiny. The country had expanded coast to coast, gaining fertile farmland, gold-rich territories, and access to the Pacific Ocean. But that victory came at a cost. The newly acquired territories reignited fierce debates over slavery. Would these new lands be slave states or free states? This dispute would eventually spiral into the American Civil War. In Mexico, the war was seen as a national tragedy, a humiliation that fueled decades of political instability and national mourning. The loss of so much land and so many lives scarred the Mexican psyche. Even today, the war is remembered as La Invasión Estadounidense, the U.S. invasion. And yet, most Americans today barely remember it happened. History isn't just what happened, it's what we choose to remember. The Mexican-American War reshaped borders, politics, and destinies. It created heroes, birthed legends, and left wounds that still linger. If you found this story eye-opening, help others uncover it too. Like this video, share it with someone who loves history, and subscribe for more untold stories from America's past.